And family, as promised, we wanted to give you a little bit of information about what our volunteer teams do and help you find a little bit of a way that you can help us during this marching season. There's going to be a meeting coming up, but we thought you might feel more comfortable if you knew a little bit about what was expected of volunteers before you showed up to the meeting to learn the rest and find out the details of how it all works. So here's a bit of an overview. Okay, there's 5 teams that have recurring jobs. The first one is our meal team. The meal team generally arrives at the school around 4 o'clock. They enter through the front office and they go to the cafeteria. Food arrives around 4 o'clock, and from 4 to 4:30, you get the food ready to serve. There's a science to it because we feed about 200 kids in about 15 minutes. My favorite thing that the meal team does is just greet the kids with a smile. Like if you can imagine, maybe they've had a rough day. It's been a long day of school. All of a sudden now it's 4:30, it's time to eat, change, get ready, get on the bus by 5:30. Sometimes they need a second to decompress. The people who do the meal team, they are great at greeting each kid with a smile, checking on them. Hey, did you have a good day? Just a little bit of quick conversation. Give them their food and they generally go sit with their friends and eat their meals. When the kids are all done eating around 4:30, they get their food around 4:30. They're done by 5:15. Once they're all out of the cafeteria, you give it a quick wipe down, and the meal team is done, ready to go watch the game, ready to go home to their family, whatever else they plan on doing for the evening. Chaperones, that's a big one. Well, they're all big ones, but chaperones, they arrive at the school around 5 o'clock if the football game is local. Times change if the game is further away. The chaperones enter through the band hall because school is over by that time. We ask that the chaperones wear some version of a Lone Star shirt. If you don't have a Lone Star band shirt, that's okay. Hopefully you'll be able to find a Lone Star shirt to wear. When you arrive, there's a quick meeting that tells you the logistics for the evening. This year we're going to have a buddy system, so we'll assign you to a buddy for the evening. And then at around 5:30, you load the bus. Generally, there's 2 chaperones on each bus, and you sit right in the middle. Like you'll have your own seat on the bus. The kids will be in front, and the kids will be behind you, and you'll sit across from the other chaperone. Our kids are great, and there's leaders for everything. So when we're on the bus leaders really do their thing. They'll call roll. They'll if the bus gets too loud, the bus leaders will handle it. They kind of handle all of it on the bus. Once we arrive at the event, chaperones exit last, do a quick walk through the bus, make sure that nobody left anything important behind. And then you head to the stands. During the event, the band is busy, right? Like there's not a whole lot to chaperone while the band is playing music. At that point, you're hanging out with the other chaperones, you sit together. The great thing about our kids, they're going to come find you if they need something. So as long as the chaperones are together where the kids can find you, that's all you have to do. Some of the things the kids may come ask for is, hey, my uniform broke, I need help fixing it. It could also be, hey, I lost this, I don't know where to find it, that kind of thing. At the end of the second quarter, the band goes to rehearse, and that's when extra chaperone duties begin. Everyone will have an assigned job, so you know exactly what you're going to do during that time. Some of it may be you're handing out the plumes, which are the big feathers they wear on the hat. And then other jobs will be assisting the field crew on the field to help move props or percussion equipment. During the third quarter, the band has a break. That gives them a chance to socialize and take pictures. A lot of times they'll use it for social media stuff as a section. Which is great. Like the idea is for them to be kids. So during that time, chaperones will just kind of go to the far ends of the zone, just to keep an eye on the kids and see if they need anything. Again, they're really good kids. They're not going to do anything wrong. Really all you end up doing is when the break is over, just encouraging them to like hurry up and get back to the seat. At the end of the game, the chaperones walk through the bleachers, look for trash or items left behind, and then we load up on the bus. And then once we're on the bus, again, student leaders run the show on the bus. When we get back to the school, chaperones are last to leave the bus, look for any trash that gets left behind, and then you're free to go. Super easy. It's a great way to make friends. And it's a free ticket to the game, right? All right, our next one is field crew. So field crew arrives at the school generally around 4 o'clock. Sometimes, I mean, it might end up being between 4 and 4:30, kind of depends on how many props we have. It sounds like this year we're going to have an awful lot of props. So the field crew will go find the props. Some of them are stored in the band hall, some of them are on the grid, because the kids have used them that morning for practice. And we load them into the 2 vehicles that we have. Once the props are loaded, they also go find the ice chest, get the ice chest loaded into the vehicles, and then you head to the stadium. And you're with a group, and you'll probably also have a buddy this year too. So you head to the stadium, you caravan over there, and then we unload in the loading area, and then you start building the props for the day. Once the props are built, you're done for a little bit, you go and you watch the first half of the game. Once the band goes to start their rehearsal time, that's when you go and start getting everything ready to load onto the field. Because once you build them, they kind of sit in a staging area until it's time to go onto the field. And then during halftime, you help push to the field. Kids take it once, like you push them to the end zone or to the front of the line of the field, and then the kids will come and take them when it's time to go onto the field. After halftime, you go back to the loading area, break down all of the props, load them back up, and then you get to go finish watching the game. At the end of the game, go back to the school from the vehicles, put them where the band can use them the next day or Monday morning for practice, and then you're good to go. Field crew is a lot more physical labor than any of the other tasks, but it's also the most fun. I think, they're all fun, but I think the reason why field crew ends up being the most fun is because bonds are built over sweat. The harder you work, the bigger the bonds you build, and field crew definitely puts in the hard work. This team takes at least 20 people per game and contest. It helps if it's not one that I would suggest doing once in the middle of the season. Like you would probably want to kind of start with this one and then keep going because you get better at it over time. Like there's a knack to learning the props and learning how to build each one, and it changes each year since it's different props. But what we do think is once you try it early in the season, you'll like it and you want to do it again. Doesn't mean you have to do it every time, but maybe you find a pattern where you can do it every other week. That would be great. Concessions. Concessions are super, super important for the band because we make a lot of money from concessions. Thankfully, we go to a school with an amazing football team, which means we have a very, very large fan base, which helps us make a lot of money on concessions. We only work concessions when we play at Toyota or if we have a home game at Kirkendall Stadium. Right now, we don't have a home game at Kirkendall Stadium, so our games that we'll work concession are games at Toyota. No experience is required to work concessions, and you just wear a hat, jeans, tennis shoes, and a Lone Star shirt. Generally, you arrive an hour and a half to 2 hours before the game. You'll enter through a side door of the stadium, and that will be communicated to you the day or two before the game. When you get there, you check in with the lead, and they'll assign you your tasks. You may work cashier, you may make food, you may do cleaning, any various food-related tasks. You are generally done with your shift before right around the end of the game because concessions close before the game is over. We always get the question, well, can I still see the halftime show if I'm working concessions? The answer to that is no. However, we only have a couple of shifts for this, and it's the same halftime show every time. So, yes, you may miss one of the 15 or 20 times that we do the performance, but that's okay because you will have an opportunity to see it, 13 or 14 other times. The next group is our photographers. This amazing group travels with the band and photographs everything that we do. Some of them are the great performance shots, and other ones are just the candid photos. All of these pictures get uploaded to our Smug Mug account so that we have pictures forever. And they're used at the end of the year for our memory book and our slideshow and our end of year video. The photography team, they rotate, they have field level access so they can go and get the good close-up shots. It's a great team to be a part of. We also have some other opportunities that don't happen during football games. They happen other times. Prop building. We're going to have a lot of props that we have to build this year. So that will happen during the summer. Well, I mean, I guess it'll be more like probably once school starts around in August, because we'll keep adding props as the show continues to build. So if construction is your jam, prop building is great. It generally happens in the evenings while the band is rehearsing. It could happen on a Saturday. It really just depends on when we get materials and that kind of thing. Those opportunities will be sent out on email, and it'll just say like, hey, if you're able, show up at this time. We're going to start building some props. If you're available to attend and help out, that's great. We'd love to have you. The more the better. Uniform help. It's not a daily thing. So the uniform helpers will meet in the band hall generally on a Monday evening while the band is practicing. And if we can get like 10 people at a time to iron them, they don't get ironed every time. Usually before like big contests is when we take a minute to iron the seams, get them back together. We need help like getting the snaps on the bottom for the stirrups, general tasks that really are necessary for the uniform to help them look nice on the field. All that gets done on a Monday evening. Again, a sign up genius will be sent out before the tasks happen. They don't happen every time, but when they do, we need a lot of help for it. Along those same lines, we do send them out for cleaning every now and then. They're all dry cleans. And when we send them out for cleaning, it takes a lot of prep because you have to tag each individual piece. What that looks like is a group of however many people can show up with a stapler, sitting on the floor, chit-chatting while you staple tags to clothes. Super easy. It's a good way to meet people. When those opportunities come up, we'll send out a sign-up genius for it. Easy way to help. Okay, U-Haul driver. The boosters rent a U-Haul, and we take it to all of our games and competitions, and it holds a lot of our props. But that means a booster parent has to drive the U-Haul. And so if we can have 1 or 2 people that are willing to, maybe like 2 or 3 people that are willing to be on a recurring schedule to drive the U-Haul, that would be great. You'd meet at the school around the same when field crew shows up, get the U-Haul in the position, drive it to the game, bring it back. We also rent a cargo trailer that we pull with someone's personal vehicle to every game. The cargo trailer holds all of the drums and all of the Sousas. This helps us. I mean, you may be thinking we have an 18-wheeler. Why do we also need a cargo trailer? We have a lot of stuff, and it speeds things up having the drums and Sousas in a separate place from the front ensemble equipment. It's usually, I want to say, a 24-foot trailer. It could vary. But if you have a truck and you have skills at pulling trailers and you don't mind helping us out with that, we'd love to have you. The U-Haul driver and the trailer pull, there's a Google form on here. If you can just let us know you're interested in that, we'll reach out. Also on that same Google form, medical and first aid. So when we are at competitions, we have 230 students that on any given competition, 3 or 4 of them need some level of medical attention. It could be they have a tummy ache, which is generally nerves, and they just need someone with medical experience to give them the, hey, I hear you. I know it doesn't look like it's anything major. I think you're fit to go back out there. Maybe they roll their ankle and we just need someone to give a quick look at it. Most of the time, it's just assistance with heat-related illnesses because we run into that a lot. October is still very, very hot in Texas. So if we have someone that's our go-to person that is a volunteer with us at the competitions that just helps keep an eye on the kids, helps them when they have heat-related issues, that really helps us a lot. So if you're interested, if you have experience with that, please fill out the form. The last one is business sponsorships. We're always looking for that unicorn out there who loves asking businesses to donate money. I love getting business sponsorships. I hate asking the businesses. It is not my jam. I am not great at it. Somebody asked me one time, well, how do I know if I would be good at it? If the idea doesn't sound like a terrible idea to you, then you're probably great at it. We have all the materials. We just need someone who's willing to go out, ask the question, and be willing to be told no a few times. And, you know, for every 5 times you're told no, maybe you'll get a yes. So if that's something you're interested in, we'd love to hear from you. Just sign up on that Google form. There will be a meeting to discuss all of the team volunteer opportunities on Tuesday, August 2nd in the band hall. We will give you all the information you might want to know, talk about the Sign Up Genius, how it works, how we communicate, all that good stuff. Our goal is for everyone to find a way to help this year. As I mentioned before, on any given weekend, it may take us 60 to 90 volunteers to help these students be their best. And as you can imagine, that requires help from everyone. So maybe last year you didn't quite jump in because you didn't know where it was. This is your time. If you're a freshman parent, don't wait. Now's your chance. Jump in. We've got a place for you. And it's a great group of parents. I promise you'll have a good time. So hopefully you come in and see us on August 2nd at 7 o'clock in the band hall.